Hello, I'm Doc, and welcome to another devlog for our game, Aggregate Core. Aggregate Core is a co-op extraction first-person shooter game that my colleague Alex and I have been developing for about 7 months now. In our last devlog, we shared a little about our ideas and plans for the game, and we received a lot of interest in the game. A 1000% increase in subscriber conversion rates, to be specific. Of course, right now we only have 106 subscribers, but that increase was very encouraging to see. So, thank you to all who have shown it. As for all you newcomers and hesitant bystanders, please consider subscribing, as it is one of the greatest ways to support us and costs nothing at all. In our last video, we received a comment from Anis Very Good Games, and they asked how Aggregate Core will be different from Deep Rock Galactic. So I decided for this next devlog I'd share more on the world and plot of the game, as well as the player character and their role. Hopefully this will help set apart our game from a lot of other extraction games like Deep Rock. The world of Aggregate Core is made up of many megastructures, similar to Dyson spheres. These structures are an ever-changing maze, capable of producing livable environments for humanity. This is known as the Assembly, an enigma to humanity. The AI controlling and maintaining the assembly is referred to as the aggregate. There is not much known about the aggregate other than that it responds to human activity like the human body responds to a virus. Extermination. Throughout the assembly we have points called aggregate cores, which are necessary for the assembly to work at full capacity. How exactly the aggregate cores are responsible for this, humanity doesn't fully understand yet, but what is known is that the aggregate cores are potential gateways for power. Finally, we have the state of humanity. Humans have divided up into various factions and corporations, each with their unique hierarchies and agendas. Some find old forgotten places within the assembly to hide and survive, while others are constantly moving, avoiding the busy aggregate's unseen gaze. All of them, however, only know the assembly. The thought of a planet with large waters, green pastures, and a blue sky is just a long-lost legend. Truly, the only thoughts in their minds now are those concerning survival and power. Somewhere in the assembly, an estranged, broken mind is enslaved to a body of flesh and machine, floating in a jar and entangled with tubes and wires. The cyborg waits. It awaits its master's commands, only known as the project manager. Its creator and owner tasked the cyborg with trivial missions. Being a fairly new experiment, Corporate 11, the corporation over the project manager, hasn't given much resource to the project. But with time, the cyborg will prove to be a powerful asset. Okay, I'm done storytelling. So let's talk a little more about the cyborg. In our game, the player plays as the cyborg, a slave to Corporate 11. Upon death, the consciousness of the cyborg is sent back to the project manager, where a new clone of itself is made and its mind re-uploaded. And no, we totally didn't get any inspiration for this character from anything else. This is our background story to the gameplay loop, which is to explore a random and procedurally generated world of the assembly, and complete missions given to you by the project manager. Along the way, you will fight and loot various enemies ranging from death machines created by the aggregate sent to kill you, other human factions and outcasts that may get in your way, or you've been sent to eliminate, or ancient machines of humanity's past idly waiting to be awoken. With all that being said, we don't plan to leave you as a little hump of floating flesh to accomplish all this. The cyborg is equipped with 4 arms. The back 2 can equip various small weapons to increase your firepower on your front, or to probe and target nearby enemies, or perhaps to idly wait by your command as you stealthily work your way through the assembly. The other 2 arms will work as you might expect, but we intend the ability to dual-wield weapons. After all, a cyborg should have a pretty cool targeting system that would make dual wielding a viable option. For protection, the cyborg will be able to be equipped with energy shields, capable of deflecting incoming projectiles and laser beams, and armor plating, to prevent damage to vital organs and CPUs functioning this awesome death machine. There's plenty more mechanics and abilities I could talk about, but for now I'll hold off. I guess to bring this video to an end, I should answer Annis Very Good Games' question of how Aggregate Core is different from Deep Rock Galactic. Or even better, how it is different from many co-op PvE focused extraction games. To answer, I would say, besides Aggregate Core's unique and I think cool world and setting, and its awesome player character, Aggregate Core sets itself apart from similar games with its narrative. Personally, I miss experiencing storylines in games with my friends. Sure, there are still many story-driven games out there, and some even being cooperative. But how many multiplayer shooter extraction games are there that have an interesting narrative? Many companies seem to focus on gameplay and it being replayable, which is great. But oftentimes I think there is a lack of progression that can be appreciated in these types of games. And by progression, I mean one with the story, where you don't just feel progression from improving your skills at the game, or your loot, but a progression with the player character and their story. For me, I have this experience from the Halo franchise, specifically Halo 1 through 3. There was a time when every time a new Halo was coming out, Alex and I would replay through all the Halo games. And to this day, I remember feeling the progression of the story for Master Chief. It was a great experience, especially with friends. My hope for Aggregate Core is that we can build a similar experience. Of course, we are just two people, so I don't expect to be able to build something quite as grand. But we do have some exciting story-driving moments for the game that I think you may just love. So if you made it this far, why not give this video a like? Subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment below about what games gave you that experience, and we'll see you for the next one.